Hi, I'm George, founder and CEO of Pathr. Pathr is a spatial intelligence platform. That means we use AI to understand how people move through physical spaces. We do that with existing infrastructure. We don't deploy any new hardware. And what we do is we connect that understanding of people moving through physical spaces to the business cases that the operators of those spaces care about. An example would be how staff and customers interact in a brick and mortar retail store, or how customers flow through a shopping center. Our platform has broad capabilities, but what I want to talk about today is a particular problem that's been brought to light due to the recent health crisis, and that's social distancing. A lot of retailers now, especially the ones that are currently open, are thinking a lot about social distancing and how they can provide a safe environment for their customers and staff, maintaining suitable social distance between those people. What many folks are doing is looking to fire codes for guidance. So if you've got a 15,000 square foot Walgreens, for example, fire code says that you need about 30 square feet per person, and that'll say that you can allow 500 people into that store. And then what retailers are doing is saying, well, let's take that fire code and cut it in half because we want to allow for more social distance. So I can probably allow 250 people into my 15,000 square foot store. Well, that's taking a metric, the fire code, that wasn't designed to reflect anything about social distance, and then arbitrarily just cutting it in half. So there's no real rigor or principle to how that number is derived, and there's downsides to getting it wrong. If you err on the side of too high, you're not allowing enough social distance. You have too many people in the physical space, and you're providing an unsafe environment. But if you err on the side of too low, you haven't allowed enough customers into your store. You're limiting the amount of customer traffic that you have, and of course that limits sales artificially. So what we want is to find a way to better deduce the number of people that can fit into a space safely. So here we're seeing simulated shoppers moving through a grocery store. This is based on statistical models that we've built, understanding how people flow through physical spaces. We're also using statistics about infection rates that we've gotten from the CDC to model certain of these shoppers being infected. And then we can look at contacts and see which contacts are unsafe between these shoppers. Where was social distance too low? And which of these are unsafe contacts, and what's the potential for disease transmission in that environment? This all lets us deduce a social distance score. The social distance score is dependent on the amount of customer traffic. So you can see to the left there that it's actually a curve. And for a particular amount of traffic, you get a particular score. There we had 3.86. But if we allow less traffic into the space, we'll occupy a different place on that curve. And here we see our social distance score has gone up to 7.93, which is a good score. We have zero unsafe contacts and zero probability of transmission with fewer occupants in the space. So we're using AI to better understand how many people can safely occupy a space given how they flow through that space, where the bottlenecks are, where the actual flows and open spaces are. So how do we do this? We start by taking just a floor plan. We can use that floor plan to, to simulate the physical environment and to let our AI-based shoppers move through that space in order to give us a first cut at a social distance score. We can allow different numbers of shoppers to move through that space so that we can derive that entire curve and understand how that social distance score changes given different numbers of people. The next thing we do is to layer in some video where we can do tracking using the video and then use that location derived from the tracking in order to improve that social distance score. It's like error bars on many statistics. The error bars shrink the more video you add to that and the more data that you're able to provide. We like to start with about a week of video if possible. We can go up to a month of video and even more. And then the next thing we might do is to deploy the technology live on the ground in the store so that we can be collecting these analytics in real time and also produce alerts and collect a much larger volume of video. Again, we can start with just a floor plan, and that lets us turn around a social distance score automatically and very, very quickly. Again, I'm George. I'm the CEO of Pathr. I'd be enthusiastic to talk to you about the ways that we could collaborate in order to make your environment safer for staff and customers. Don't hesitate to reach out to me, George at Pathr.ai, or visit one of our websites, Pathr.ai or socialdistance.ai. Thank you.